Just getting my laptop to show me what's going on. Maybe. We are going to be inking. What's going on? Here we go. Play. Sorry, I'm streaming on my phone and monitoring it on my laptop, and sometimes they don't want to comply. So, we are working on some Noah's Archipelago stuff today. This is my web comic. Normally, I do everything on my iPad in Procreate. But I am working on an anthology, which hopefully, I mean, it's real close to being done. So hopefully it'll be actually done in a month or so. And then there's the dance with, I'm self-publishing on Amazon. So then there will be the dance of, author or proof copies and author copies and making sure I didn't screw anything up. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But I do have, I think, 6 bonus cartoons that kind of go with the text around the comics, so like the introduction and whatnot. And those I'm going to ink the old-fashioned way. So we're going to work on, I want to say a couple of them, but it depends how long this one takes. Um, So last week I thought I was going to get a couple things done, and I ended up only getting the one done. So, I'm going to be a little cautious today. But we are working with Speedball Black. I don't want to tip it too much because the lid is a little loose, but the Speedball um, Super Black India ink, which is a little bit flaky. I have the saran wrap so that it doesn't like glue itself shut when I have ink around the top treads and it dries. So anyways, we got that. We got a dip pen. We got a whole bunch of nibs. This is, I showed it in last week's stream. It's a little clay pinch pot thingy I made of actually another character, Miles's father, Larry. I was like, what am I going to do with these tiny little pinch pots? And I realized they're the perfect size for my nibs. So let's get right to it, shall we? And I do have, like I said, I've got the stream going on my laptop. It's a bit delayed, but if there's anything in chat, I will kind of try and keep an eye on it. So Noah, what do we want to say about Noah? Well, this is, first of all, kind of say this is the cartoon that's going to go on the page right before the actual comic starts. So the joke we have here is that we're pretending like it's in a movie theater, and he's just barging in at the last second, laden down with popcorn and other goodies. And saying perfect timing. And then what he also says, and I don't know how much it shows up in the camera because it's the underdrawing here is done in a non-photo blue pencil. So camera. Well, I mean, a full color camera will pick it up. This is done back in the day when you were scanning in black and white or using Xerox machines for your reduction. And those would not recognize the non-photo blue. It would just disappear. So whereas a pencil line or whatnot, it would show up, right? So anyways, more or less I'm going to be working top left and down, but because I've got this fat, well, actually it's not a fat nib, but a fatter nib than what I'm going to use for the main part of the drawing. I figure I'll do the text first, and then we'll get going on that. So Noah's saying always skip the previews. The book is I'm putting it together in InDesign. I've got an ancient, like, well, I say ancient, but 2008 MacBook Pro that has the creative suite. You know, back when you could just pay them an obscene amount of money one time instead of almost obscene amount of money every month. So as long as that computer doesn't die, we're golden. Because I've got InDesign, I got Photoshop, I got Illustrator, all that jazz. Eventually, of course, all things die, but hopefully it won't happen while I'm working on this book, right? And yeah, and oh, somebody said hello. I've got my reading glasses on. I got to make my thing a little bigger so I can actually read your names. It's Dead Fox. Hi, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Got my reading glasses on, and I'm realizing if I'm looking at my laptop across my desk, I still can't read. At a certain age, you just start doing that command plus. Anyways, we're going to move to a slightly smaller nib so we can actually start the drawing process. This one, in the end, is going to end up being a lot of blackout because it's a theater. And he's showing up when it's already dark in the theater because the show is beginning. But, you know, we'll get the drawing done first, and then we'll put on a big fat nib to come in and go over things. The anthology is going to be in full color, but I was kind of thinking about, well, do I do these bonus cartoons in Procreate to match the actual cartoons? I'm like, yeah, you know what? It'd be kind of neat to have like a couple little hand-drawn elements for it. So bonus cartoons are all going to be black and white. So when I'm drawing his face, I got to concentrate a little more, which means I got to talk a little bit less. Some might say that makes it a better stream. No, well, he's a big believer in, you know, what were those ads back in the day for hair dye? Multi-dimensional color. Yeah. Depending on how much dye you use, it's usually not multi-dimensional. But Noah would insist he doesn't dye his hair at all. This is all natural variations. His hairdresser might have other opinions, though. One thing I've realized is that it's a lot harder to make tonal variations in something like color if you're just doing it in black and white. I mean, we want to kind of indicate he's got some gray streaks that he's allowing to come in his bangs and at his sort of, one of the readers on Facebook called it his wings, you know, the little bit. They're not sideburns, that would be down here, but, you know, the little bit that goes over his ears. He does leave those graying for, you know, to look distinguished or whatever. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe he does what... Wasn't it a trend a few years ago that young women were going into the salon and having their hair dyed gray? Although, you know, Noah's in his late 40s, although he insists he's still 29. So at that age, it's probably quite natural, and it's the other color that's questionable. there'd be a couple popcorn bits that are falling off as he goes. It's just kind of a tragedy when you consider how much they charge for popcorn at a movie theater. You want to kind of be careful and guard it all. Let's back to Noah. Kind of looks like he's about to lose his Twizzlers packet too, but also Noah doesn't like to button his shirt unless the wife makes him do so for, church or something like that. So we're going to see some chest hair going out. He's bringing sexy back or something. Or bringing the 70s back. Something like that. The fact that he doesn't have the wife and kids in tow tells me this is probably a matinee. The wife's at work. The kids are at, well, the 8-year-old is at school. Obviously, he's gotten a babysitter for the baby. Call it, instead of the big gulp, the big glug. I'm going to outline the balloons a little heavier, so. That's a little better for shoe size. Noah would also like to be depicted with a bigger shoe size, because reasons. course, kind of got to be careful here because I'm going to reach over Noah in order to sketch the pissed off member of the audience who's mad at him for being loud. Speaking of the 70s, she's got a bit of a Farrah flip she's trying to have a bit of a Farrah flip. I'm gonna wait and do the bottom seats until I've got the top done, because otherwise I'm definitely going to be smearing it up in order to reach up to the higher areas. So now do a little bit with the first nib I used, because I want to outline those speech bubbles. I swear this bottle of super black is a little bit separated or something, because straight out of the bottle I should not be getting gray spots like that. Like so many other things, I don't think it's as great nowadays as it used to be. But anyways, that's a rant for some other time. What I'm doing in between it, I just have like little yogurt containers with water. I've got like 3 or 4 of them. Well, 3 yogurts and 1 giant sour cream. So I just swish the nibs in there, and then I kind of blot them with the paper towel. You can get pen cleaner, but if you do it this way, then you don't really need to get the pen cleaner fluid until things are like really, unless things like dry or whatever get really gunky. But then at the same time, if they dry and get really gunky, you might just have to replace your nibs anyways. So I'm going to go for a big fat nib and black out the rest of the theater. Why? Because I don't want to draw a crap load of seats. That's why, because I'm lazy. But also, this is probably, I mean, it's probably going to reduce, the whole book is 7.5 inches wide by 9.25 inches tall, I think. And with margin, like this wouldn't be a full bleed illustration. Like I'm not doing any full bleeds in the whole book. So this is going to end up being shrunk down to like that, like a quarter of the size or whatnot. So, I mean, if you do draw in your entire theater and whatnot, that can look really amazing when it gets shrunk down. I just don't see the point personally. For my art style. For other people's art style, it looks awesome. See, that's kind of graying out a little bit. So I think whatever ingredients are in there, and this blob is quite black, so there's some separation. And that was not really an old bottle. Whatever. Again, what did I say? That's a rant for another day. So why I wasn't too worried that I kind of goobered up the back of that seat, right? Because I knew I was going to be doing this, so I can clean it up then. And I can clean it up later in Photoshop too, but try and do it as well as you can initially, and then worry about cleanup for small stuff. And bearing in mind that I'm going to crop this, I want to bring it up enough, but I don't have to fill in the whole, you know. Basically, I'm probably going to crop this in Photoshop right about here, so we just want enough to clear that line. And then wherever something, mind you, because I haven't completely filled in his jeans here, I will kind of come close. Around his feet, I'll probably put a ever so slight little border of white. If I get in too close with his hair, it kind of starts to vanish, but I'll get a little bit closer. I want him to have that tiny little bit of a white halo. Not because he's an angel, but just because we want his hair to stick out from the background. I am going to come back and do some shadow on them, and I'll know his shirt as well, but do that with a smaller nib in a moment. Gives a little bit of tone to her blouse. Let's do the same with Noah's shirt. Noah doesn't normally wear black, but you know, even brighter colors in a dimly lit environment are going to have quite a lot of shadow in them. This is almost looking like a wash. I think in my last, on the Friday live stream last week, I had a whole, I think I kept myself from going too far into it, but I was starting to have opinions about the Speedball Super Black. I have not had as good luck with it in the last few years versus, you know, I've been using this kind of ink for, I don't know, since the 90s, but I swear the formula is different now. I had looked online about some recommendations of other ones to try, which I'll have to look into. Yeah, that looks a little more in depth. Don't really want to put too much shadowing on him per se, like on his face or whatnot. Kind of keep that a little flat. But we'll give this dude's shirt some tonality as well. And his tie. Just enough. Now let's outline some more theater seats. It would appear that Noah did not spring for the full recliner seats. Whoops. It's okay, that's all going to disappear. And that'll probably get chopped out in the crop as well, so I'm going to worry too much about getting right to the very edge. Similarly, probably going to crop the very, very bottom out, so I'm not too worried about not going over the line. I mean, I've got plastic down on the desk, so it doesn't really matter, but you know, still. 2 more chairs, and there, oop, my mistake from earlier went bye-bye. See, in the olden days, I wouldn't be pulling stuff right out of the bottle and having it come out that gray. I swear they've changed. But anyways, yeah, gonna have to start playing with some other inks instead. All right. Well, not quite an hour, about 45 minutes in, but just thinking the other one has a lot of detail and probably is going to take an hour or so to do. So I think we're going to call the stream right there for now. So hope you've enjoyed watching Noah show up just in time for the movie and be loud and obnoxious as he's coming into the theater. Like I said at the beginning, this is going to be a bonus cartoon for a book I'm working on, an anthology of the Noah's Archipelago webcomic that I do. I update that, generally speaking, I'm supposed to update it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. The website is a little bit behind, but social media like Instagram and Facebook, I believe I have the links down below. Those get updated on time. um, so I hope you've enjoyed watching this little inking. Next Friday, I will be doing another inking live stream, whether I'll be working on more stuff from the Noah book. I might be working on the second half of that Miles J is for Jury Duty spread that I did last week. Or we might start working on my Ricky B. the Rock and Roll Rat graphic novel. But I'll kind of leave it till the last minute to decide. But we'll be doing some sort of inking. So yeah, the Friday 6 p.m. Pacific stream, I'll be doing inking with a dip pen and ink that's supposed to be black, but whatever. And then I also stream on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, and that's sketchbook, marker, pen, sort of doodle, brainstorming type of thing. And the current thing we're doing in that one is this guy, Noah's daughter, 8-year-old daughter, Ursula, is consulting with Ricky B. the Rock and Roll Rat about themed pizza restaurants and that sort of thing. So we're doing weird little drawings out of that stream. So anyways, I'm going to shut up now and have a good weekend, everyone. Have a good week and talk to you again soon. Bye for now. Don't know whether I should wave this way like I would facing away, but I guess it's to the palm, right? Anyways, catch you later. Bye.